Yo, it's Marc with the Fantasy Knockout Fantasy Football Show. Today is Tuesday, September 5th. You can follow the show on social media at Fantasy Knockout. Make sure to subscribe whatever platform you're watching or listening on. And I got a goal this year, 1,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. Let's get that. I'm excited for today's show. It is the Week 1 waivers. You guys are probably asking, what? Waivers for Week 1? Yes, there's probably some guys we could still pick up, make some roster adjustments if certain players got hurt or are on IR. We'll go more into depth in a little bit. But I got a question for you guys. Have you signed up to become a Knockout member? I assume most of your drafts are already done, so you can still get access to the draft cheat sheets if you have a draft going on. But now during the regular season, if you sign up to become a Knockout member, you'll have access to the trade chart, which is the player values, priority questions and answers, and flex rankings. Head over to the website to do that. Also, I'm doing the Survival League. If you guys are interested in doing that, it's just for fun. It's just a contest where you pick one team each week. And if you win, you move on. And you cannot use the same team twice. It's through Yahoo. You can go to the Yahoo Survival thing. The link is down below as well. The group ID is 1183 and the password is Knockout. You guys ready to talk some news?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the news.
All right, news with views. Start off with wide receiver Cooper Kupp from the Rams. He suffered a setback with a lingering hamstring injury. We reported that last show. His head coach, Sean McVay, said he will have more information on Kupp's injury by Wednesday. I'm going to prepare as if Kupp is not good to go week 1. If he is, then yay, you're hopeful you can play him. But if not, make adjustments accordingly. Quarterback Joe Burrow from Cincinnati. He is day-to-day with his calf. Burrow will be ready for week 1. Not sure how mobile he will be, though. But, yeah, he should be good to go. Running back Zach Moss from Indianapolis. His head coach, Shane Steichen, said that Moss is, quote, progressing well from his surgery on his broken forearm. I still doubt that he's going to be ready for week 1. So I'm going to give the nod to Deion Jackson and the rookie Evan Hall. And then the other rookie running back / quarterback Anthony Richardson. Running back James Robinson, who's a free agent, he just visited with the Colts, so they're looking to add someone else. They've already talked with veteran running back Robinson, like I just said, and Kareem Hunt, so we'll see who's going where to Indy in a little bit. Some guys that have returned to practice that were questionable, that were big names that just, you're like, oh, I got the question tag on them, and you're just kind of freaking out. Yeah, I got some of those guys too. Tight end Mark Andrews from Baltimore, he's returned to practice, so good news. Wide receiver Jalen Waddle from Miami, he's returned to practice. Kadarius Toney, the wide receiver out of Kansas City, he's back. Wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown out of Detroit, he's back, he'll play. And running back Devon Achane out of Miami, he's returned to practice as well, so that's good news there. So my draft rankings are done. They have been finished and finalized. I'm going to leave them up until Wednesday morning, just in case some of you guys have final drafts going on over this weekend and a little bit late weekend or whatever. I'm going to be putting up my week 1 rankings Wednesday morning. We're going to publish those then, so that gives some of the people the draft time to get that done. And then you guys, I'm sure, have a bunch of questions on who to start this week. So we'll get that out on week 1. And I'm sure some of you guys are asking, the next show is going to be, yes, this Friday. And yes, there is a game Thursday night with Detroit and Kansas City. And you're probably asking me, well, what about some of those players that play in there? What do we do with them? So I'm going to tell you guys, start your studs. And I'll go over some players from that game and tell you what to do with them. But we're going to start your studs. We're not going to get cute and try to play someone in Thursday's game over a known player. Start your studs. Just, be smart about it. On the Kansas City side, we're going to start Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce. Those are knowns. Got it. Great. The running backs, Isaiah Pacheco, I'd go ahead and start. If you drafted him to be your RB1 or RB2, go ahead and do that. If you drafted Jerick McKinnon and you need him in your flex him. He will be flex worthy this game. On the Detroit side, there's only, 3 guys that I'd be starting on that team. Amon-Ra St. Brown, go ahead and start him right away. Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm starting him because you drafted him to do that. And then David Montgomery as well. If you drafted him to be your RB2, start him. You could even flex him if you have to. But McKinnon and Montgomery, if you know you have somebody better as that flex option, play them instead. but those guys will have some work. They'll be useful, and if they can fall into the end zone and get a touchdown, then you're golden.
Main event.
Main event. All right, the must-add players for Week 1, the waiver wire edition. So I have these players kind of listed in importance by position. We'll just start off with the quarterbacks. I don't have anyone to be picking up and starting right away, but just check to see if Geno Smith from Seattle is out there. He's about 85% owned in Yahoo leagues. Some tight ends that you guys, if you're waiting on tight end, you're not sure who to start. Here's some streamable or guys that you could start. Tyler Higbee from the Rams, he's about 77% owned. Check to see if he's there. Juan Johnson out of New Orleans, he's about 37% owned. And Greg Dulcich out of Denver, he's about 43% owned. You can pick those guys up. They're suitable options for this week. Some running backs, Deion Jackson out of Indianapolis, he's about 31% owned. He's going to get the start Week 1 with Taylor on the pup. Raheem Mostert out of Miami, he's about 70% owned. Yes, I know I'm saying some of these guys' names, and you're probably like, Mark, he's already been drafted, he's already been taken. But just check. You never know. Just check. Jeff Wilson was placed on the IR, so if Raheem Mostert is out there, pick him up. Put him in your starting lineup because he's going to have a ton of work this week. Kenneth Gainwell from Philly. Check to see if he's out there. He's about 52% owned. I think he's going to be the lead back. Yes, Swift is the bigger name, but I like Gainwell. I think Gainwell will take over and become the more efficient running back there in Philly. Just some notable names just to double check to see if they're out there. They're about 50% owned. Devon Achane out of Miami. He's the number 2 back there right now. He's about 48% owned. Jalen Warren out of Pittsburgh. Yes, he's the backup to Najee, but he's about 47% owned. I like his opportunity, and he's got a good path to become fantasy relevant this year. And then Tank Bigsby out of Jacksonville. He's about 47% owned. See if those guys are out there. Add them to your roster, to your bench. Some wide receivers we're going to look at is Van Jefferson out of the Rams. He's about 16% owned. So if Cooper Kupp is not good to go, guess who the number 1 receiving option is going to be? Van Jefferson for the Rams this week. So if you got Kupp, I would pick him up. Or if you got other options, great. Good job for you for drafting depth like we've been talking about all draft season. Treylon Burks out of Tennessee. He's about 66% owned. See if he's available out there. I think this kid's going to level up this year. Isaiah Hodgins from New York, the Giants. He's about 7% owned. We don't know who the number 1 receiving option we do know the receiving option is going to be tight end Darren Waller. But the number 1 receiver there in New York, we don't know who it's going to be. Could it be Paris Campbell? Could it be Isaiah Hodgins, who I think those two probably are the best chance to do that. It could be Sterling Shepard. It could be Darius Slayton. We don't know. But I'm going to take one of those guys to see what happens Week 1. Who is Daniel Jones looking for? And then just check to see if Cortland Sutton is out there from Denver. He's about 76% owned with the injury of Jerry Jeudy, possibly missing Week 1. Sutton should get a nice bump up in targets, and just see if he's available. All right, some streaming options, some streaming quarterbacks and defenses we're going to go over so you guys can pick these guys up and play them. If you completely waited on quarterback or if you completely waited on your defense and you're like, crap, I don't know who to play, I got you. Here we go. So Jordan Love from Green Bay, he's at Chicago. He's about 30% owned. So Chicago was a bottom half defense last year, and I assume they're probably going to be similar this year as well. So you could take the gamble and start Love. Hopefully you have a quarterback already and you don't need these guys. But Sam Howell from Washington, I like his matchup this week. It's versus Arizona. He's at home versus Arizona, and he's only 22% owned. I think this kid's got something special. We'll see if he can be a streamable option all year long. So I'm blending Arizona and defense. The Arizona defense. There we go. Arizona defense is bad. I'm going to stream any quarterback this year against them, most likely. That's the game plan going forward. And then, guess what? Derek Carr from New Orleans. He's at home versus Tennessee. He's about 41% owned. And I think he's got something to prove. He's going to come out probably slinging it and wants to show off to the Raiders that they made a mistake. So those are my streaming options for quarterbacks. Let's talk some defenses. We're going to stay in New Orleans with the New Orleans Saints. They're versus Tennessee at home. They're about 75% owned. Yes, just check to see if they're out there. Again, they're at home. Only thing they have to worry about is stopping Derrick Henry. I don't believe that Tannehill has anything special. I think the Saints defense is a good streaming option for multiple weeks going forward. Then the Atlanta Falcons, they are at home versus the Carolina Panthers. They're about 4% owned. Yes, it's ugly. Yes, they've added a lot of free agent defensive players to their roster this year. They are going to be a lot better defensively this year, and they're at home, which I like. They have lots of great upgrades to their defense, which I just said, and against a rookie quarterback. I always like playing defenses against rookie quarterbacks just because he has not done it yet. He has not seen the field. Guarantee he's probably going to make some mistakes. So you could stream the Atlanta Falcons. Well, that's going to wrap it up for today. The next show is going to be the Week 1 must-start players, the ranking show. Thank you for listening to the show. Make sure to subscribe whatever platform you're on. Please leave that rating and review. All right. Till next time. See ya.